All right, so this is my Jurassic World review. And I'm not much of a reviewer. I'm just going to be basically talking about the movie. So, and I'm going to have a bunch of spoilers in this. I don't really want to dance around some of the things that I want to talk about. So just know that if you have not seen the movie, I will be talking about things in the movie that may spoil it for you, especially the ending. So keep that in mind before you watch this and don't get angry because this is fair warning. Spoilers about. So, first things first. I always loved Jurassic Park. I went and saw the movie when I don't know, I was 13, 14. It was somewhere in that range. Grandmother went and took me, and I was absolutely blown away with it. And yeah, that was part of the reason was because I was a kid, but there are other reasons, and I'll get into that. This one, I didn't have my expectations set high because I mean that movie is a classic. I think most people would say, yeah. Some are going to say it's overhyped and overrated, blah 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 blah. But for the most part, most people are going to say that movie's a classic. It's going to live right up there in the stratosphere, and it's going to be hard to top. So I didn't build my expectations for this movie thinking it was going to come anywhere close to the original, and it didn't. I liked it. Now I wasn't blown away by it or anything like that, but I liked it. I thought it was okay. I thought it was decent. It really has the feel of a very high budget B movie, a B monster movie, which is essentially, I think, at its core, that's what it is. Is just a big B movie. I mean, they're creating monsters essentially. Now, the thing about this movie, there's not really that buildup of excitement and wonderment like there was in the first one. And again, I didn't really expect it. At this point, everybody knows what they're going to get out of a Jurassic Park movie. You're going to get dinosaurs. So it was kind of, I didn't think that it really needed to be that much of a tension build-up and anticipation. You just kind of want to get into it with this movie, and that's what they did, and I think they did a good job with that. Because you're not going to capture the magic of the first one in terms of building up that suspense, because you got to put yourself in in the eyes of the audience of the very first movie. You're sitting there in that audience, you kind of feel the same way as the characters do in that film. And what I mean by that is, at that time in the early 90s, I believe it was 93, I mean, computer generated graphics were in their infancy still. When we had Terminator 2, and everybody was just amazed by that because they hadn't even seen anything like that before. But when Jurassic Park came along and you saw those computer-generated dinosaurs, nobody had seen anything like that before. It blew everybody away, and me included in the theater. Nobody had seen anything like that before. So you kind of look at that first scene when the dinosaurs show up in Jurassic Park, when Grant is in the field and they're in the Jeep and they see that Brontosaurus. The audience pretty much has that same reaction as those characters have. The characters are in awe because they're seeing these dinosaurs. You, as an audience member, are almost in that same kind of awe because you're seeing something on the screen that you've never seen exist before. The closest thing we'd ever seen anything like that is just stop motion dinosaurs in a Harryhausen movie or something like that. Nothing compared to that. So you really relate to those characters in that sense, and I think that's a major part of the magic of that movie. And that's just something you're not going to capture with this film. I mean, it's impossible. And I don't fault the filmmakers for that or anything. It's just that, as an audience, we've grown accustomed over the last 20, 25 years of seeing images like that and not necessarily being blown away by it. I mean, how much better really could it get? We've been conditioned. So you're not going to have that same sense of awe as you would in the first movie. And yeah, the plot of the movie is kind of obvious. Something's going to go wrong with the park. Dinosaurs are going to get loose. I mean, but it's a Jurassic Park movie. What else would it be? What else would happen, right? I mean, you pretty much get what you expect to get, and they deliver on that. And yeah, there were some things in this movie that were pretty hokey and pretty cheesy, but again, it's one of those check your brain into out before you go and watch it. And, you're really not expecting Shakespearean writing in something like this. It's a movie far, far, far away from reality, so to speak. So, but I will say this: there were a few things in here that I was like, I don't know, it was kind of odd. Yeah, like for instance, now I know it's nitpicking, it's silly nitpicking, and I kind of hate it when people do this, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it myself. Like, okay, there was a water creature, and I forget what the name of the dinosaur actually was, but let's call it a water creature, right? And so, as a viewer, I guess you're led to believe that most of the DNA, or if not all the DNA is gotten from mosquitoes and amber, but obviously the mosquitoes would have to bite a creature. Or how would they get the mosquito, or how would a mosquito bite a sea creature for them to be able to get the DNA from it? So that was kind of one thing I really thought about. But I don't know. It's kind of silly to nitpick a movie like that, a movie like this, with stuff like that, I guess, because we're talking about a movie that we have cloned dinosaurs in, right? So the ending of the movie, I thought, as hokey and cheesy as some of the parts were in the last 20 to 30 minutes, it was fun to watch. I will say that. It was a blast. Seeing dinosaurs fight, pretty much. And I'm huge into I love Godzilla movies. I don't really complain about the realism of Godzilla movies. You just watch Godzilla to watch him pretty much destroy things, other creatures, and then cities and stuff. That's pretty much what you get at the end of this movie. You get a Godzilla movie. It was so cheesy. It really was. Like, okay, just the whole, at the end, when the raptor and the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the humans are all kind of sitting there, it was almost like they were nodding to each other. Like the raptor was like, "I got your back, yo. I got your back, yo." The Tyrannosaurus was all like, "Well, my job is done. Later, guys." And then wanders off. Like what was that? like I'm pretty sure that. And then, of course, the raptor and then the Tyrannosaurus are pretty much nodding at each other and like, "Look, man, we got that son of a bitch. We're cool, right? We're cool. Okay, we're cool. We're cool. Later, man. Later, T." I don't know. I think like in a real Jurassic World, after the big monster's been destroyed, probably the T-Rex is gonna go after the raptor because he's getting a little hungry there. Or at the very least, the T-Rex is going to turn to the humans and be like, "Well, now that Mr. Clonosaurus or whatever his name is gone, I'm going to have me some late night snack with you guys and come right after." But no, the T-Rex was pretty much like, "Well, later, guys," and then takes off. That was kind of silly. And then the look of the raptor at the end, the Rupu was like, "Mm-hmm. I got your back, man." And I guess I could buy that a little bit more because Chris Pratt being the or Owen, I think his name is, being the raptor trainer, and I don't know the validity of that. Who knows? If we're gonna say that people can clone dinosaurs from DNA found in a mosquito, who are we to also say that you couldn't train the dinosaurs? That's kind of silly, but I don't know. For me, for whatever reason though, the end was, and it wasn't so much to the ending with the dinosaurs kind of nodding to each other. It's not that it just seemed unrealistic. Who knows? Maybe that's what dinosaurs do. It just seemed like so contrived and silly and bow-tied happy ending sort of thing. And hooray! Kind of almost like at the end of the last Godzilla movie, almost. Godzilla's fights the monster, raises up, goes back into the sea, and it was just, I don't know, man. I just kind of shook my head, like, really, they're really gonna do that? But yeah, I don't know. That's just how I felt about it. It's still fun. I don't think it took away from the movie or anything. It's still fun, and I'll probably end up getting it on Blu-ray and stuff when it comes out. And they totally left this open for a sequel. at the end or near the end, when things are starting to go down, you can tell from certain circumstances that they're clearly leaving it open for a sequel in the future. Whenever the head scientist guy, I don't remember what his freaking name is, the main scientist guy, he takes the embryos into the helicopter, and so embryos into the helicopter, and the helicopter flies off to who knows where. Militarization of the dinosaurs. We're seeing a sequel, no doubt about it. It's gonna happen. And I don't know, maybe that'd be kind of cool to see a sequel like Jurassic Army, where they like actually clone raptors to go in and fight in war or something. Kind of like Dino Riders, they're actually riding the freaking raptors and the T-Rexes into battle and stuff. Oh, I want to see that. I want to see that. That would be amazing. Could call it like Jurassic War, the Revengeing or something. I don't know. When raptors attack, the possibilities are endless, with something like that. Kind of take the franchise in a completely different direction, very, very, very dark and scary sort of thing, or make it a completely different movie. Because you can't, if you're gonna do it, you can't do the same thing. You can't make the first movie again. You can't make this movie again. You have to go a completely different route and do something completely different if you're going to make a sequel. So maybe that is something that they're considering. And who knows, maybe it actually might be kind of cool. I don't know, maybe they could have gone a certain way in terms of making it a little darker. I always thought, I was like seeing some concept art or ideas or something a few years ago about how they were going to try to maybe possibly take dinosaurs and clone them or whatever, cross the DNA with humans, make like human dinosaur hybrids, and it was very frighteningly disturbing. So maybe if they, I don't know, maybe it'd been kind of cool to have them go that darker route, where you kind of you see something complete. The polar opposite of the very first movie, where it's got this darkness to it. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes that can revitalize a franchise. Sometimes that can completely destroy it. I probably would destroy this one, but like I kind of fascinated with that sort of thing, though. Like you take certain movies in a franchise and then you go a completely different route with it, and maybe like Pulp Fiction 2, but it's a romantic comedy or something like that, or like Battlefield Earth, and you make it a comedy, or Battlefield Earth 2 and you make it a comedy, or actually that wouldn't be much of a difference. But yeah, anyway, Jurassic World, it's not as horrible as I was expecting. It does reek of typical Hollywood schlock from time to time. However, just don't go into this expecting the first movie. As I said before, the first movie is on its own plateau. It's not going to be touched, and it's not. There's some nostalgia talking. It's just a different movie for a different time. So if you're into the monsters fighting, if you're into the Godzilla stuff, if you just want some action and some cool visuals and all that good stuff, yeah, maybe this is for you. So anyway, Jurassic Park, I give it 7.5 Velociraptors out of 10. No, we'll do that. Maybe 8, closer to 8. No, can't go 8. I'll go 7.5. I'll stick to it. 7.5.